So hello and welcome. Today we're going to take a deep dive into Salem, Oregon. This is a city that often gets overlooked in favor of places like Portland, Bend or Eugene, but Salem really has a lot going for it, including some truly spectacular homes. Now, if you're relocating for work, looking for more affordability, or just want a bit more space without giving up the urban amenities, Salem might just surprise you. We've got historical neighborhoods here, riverfront parks, state government jobs, vineyards, and a growing food scene. Overall, Salem has a lot to offer. So let's take a tour of Salem, which is Oregon's capital city, and see what life is really like here. So hello, I'm David Backholer. I'm a real estate broker and I help people relocate to the Portland metro area and sometimes just a little bit beyond. Now today I'm exploring Salem, which is about an hour south of Portland, and this video is going to be a little bit longer than usual because, well, there's actually quite a lot to cover. We're going to talk about neighborhoods, home prices, lifestyle, schools, government jobs, and a lot more. So if you are new here, be sure to subscribe. If you're thinking about making a move to Oregon, feel free to reach out. I'd love to help you through the process. Okay, so let's start things off first and talk about where Salem is located. Now, Salem is located in the Willamette Valley, about 45 to 60 minutes south of Portland. That of course depends on traffic. It's sandwiched between the Coast Range to the west, the Cascade Mountains to the east, and it sits right on the Willamette River. So you've got beautiful scenery in almost every direction. In fact, there's some great views there behind me. Now, Salem is Oregon's third largest city, and it's the capital of the state and a population of over 180,000. So before we get too much further, let's bring up our map so you can see exactly where we're located, as well as what else there is to see and do in the area. Okay, so we're on our map. You'll see Salem is right here, right in the middle of the screen, the dotted red outline. Portland is to the north. It's about 45 minutes to an hour to get from Salem to Portland. Of course, it depends on traffic, time of day, and then what part of the cities you're in. But it's approximately an hour or less to get from Salem to Portland. And then Eugene, another big city down here. So really, it's about a similar sort of distance from Salem to Eugene. It's pretty much slap bang in the middle between those two cities. And then you can see we've got the Oregon coast, Nescoin, Lincoln City. Is probably around an hour and a half. Really depends again to get to the coastline. So it's well located overall. Now let's scroll in a little bit. The main like downtown shopping area as such kind of is right here, Liberty Street. In fact, a commercial street right here. But let's put our little guy down on the street just so you can get a glimpse. And I will be covering off some of this a little more in more detail. And when I talk about downtown, I'm not talking about a Portland downtown where you have those high skyscrapers. These are, 3-4 story high buildings. This is not a busy hustle bustle downtown. You can see there's some condo units here with a few more stories, but it's not like a high rise area by any means at all. It's probably only a few small blocks, and it's quite a cute historic downtown. It's definitely got some charm. You can kind of see some of the old traditional buildings. Maybe there's some offices up above and then some kind of cafes and eateries down below. So that's kind of the downtown area. And again, I'll cover that off in a little bit more detail. You've got the Willamette River that goes through Salem. It kind of splits West Salem up here off. West Salem is really, really pretty. There's several different sections to Salem, and the types of homes that you'll find are going to be quite different in the various different pockets. West Salem is quite leafy, quite green, got some hills, it's very, very pretty. Kaiser here to the north, it's not technically part of Salem, but it almost always gets combined in because it's kind of adjoining. Bit newer, you've got some shops there as well. You might find some single story homes there. East Salem generally tends to be a lower price point to entry, a little bit less on the affluency level there as well. So if you're looking for something a bit more affordable, that northeast Salem area is definitely where you find some good options. And then South Salem is really, really beautiful, great schools in South Salem. You'll certainly find some new construction in this area, homes that are quite affordable, green, maybe some homes from about 20 years ago. So let's again put our little guide. Yeah, this kind of gives you an idea of kind of what you can expect from this area, kind of the cul-de-sac area, and we'll get into this in a lot more detail overall. But South Salem, a wonderful part of Salem. South Salem and West Salem generally have the best schools. And then in terms of features nearby, you've got this Minto Brown Island Park, and again I'll cover this more in the video, but I want to call it out here so you can see exactly where it's located. So it's kind of on the west side of the commercial area. It is a huge park, it's beautiful, it's along the Willamette River, just plenty of, there's a golf course in here, there's plenty of walking trails, dog parks. But it is, you can see, compared to the size of Salem itself, is a really, really large and attractive park. And then if we just zoom out a little bit more, you'll see this is all the Willamette Valley, and this is where you'll find, wine country here. So Newburgh, McMinnville, all this area along here, this is all wine country. So if you're fond of wine or you work in the industry, Salem could be a great place to live. And then finally, Salem is the capital city of Oregon. So you have some of the Capitol buildings in here as well, and we'll cover those off later in the video. Okay, so that's enough for the top level. We'll go into everything I just talked about and more, but let's jump back in to the main part of the video. So if you do decide to move to Salem, then you probably want to know a little bit more about the job scene here. Now, of course, Salem being the state capital means there's plenty of government jobs, but there is also a wide range of opportunities across several different industries. Now, although there is some uncertainty for government workers in today's job market, there's still plenty of government jobs here, including the Oregon State Capitol, which is the building right behind me, the DMV, just to name a few. Now, in the healthcare industry, you've got big employers like Salem Health and Kaiser Permanente. There's also plenty of opportunities in education, including the Willamette University and Chemiqueta Community College. And of course, located here in the Willamette Valley, there's also a large agricultural and wine industry. This is the gateway to Oregon's wine country. So overall, on the job front, Salem has that classic government town vibe, more laid back than Portland, but with a solid employment opportunities and overall a fairly low unemployment rate. Okay, so let's take a few minutes to talk about the neighborhoods, because Salem is a big city and where you live really shapes your day-to-day life. Now, each part of the city has its very unique vibe, so I want to give you a quick overview on the main areas buyers are usually interested in. And let's start off with West Salem. That's the part of the city that sits across the Willamette River, and it's known for being more suburban, hilly and scenic. Over that side, you'll find a lot more newer homes with great views, and it's a popular choice for families thanks to the good schools and fairly quiet streets. And moving around clockwise, you have downtown Salem. This is the capital district. It's the heart of the city. You've got the historical homes, walkable streets, coffee shops, boutiques, easy access to the Capitol buildings. The Willamette University and Salem Hospital is there too. And it's a great spot if you want to be close to the action, enjoy what the classic urban feel is with that historical charm. Now, I'm currently in South Salem, and this is actually a pretty big area, and it offers everything from affordable homes to some of the city's most desirable neighborhoods. You'll find a lot more newer homes here, homes from the last 20 years particularly have been built here. And it's part of the town, it's fairly well established. It does have a mix of mid-century homes and newer builds. Great schools here, some fantastic parks here as well. And it's quite hilly, so you'll also have some good views. And then East Salem, this area tends to be a bit more affordable. So East Salem generally is a good mix of residential, commercial, more rental properties. So East Salem, I'd say, is a good area if you're looking for something with a bit of value, or looking for maybe a fixer-upper. You'll find a lot more diversity there as well. And then finally, Northgate and Kaiser. Kaiser is actually technically its own city. It's often considered part of the greater Salem area. It feels quite suburban, has great shopping, parks. It's popular with people who want that quieter pace of life while still being close to everything. And in Kaiser, you'll also be closer to Portland. So really, if you're after something historic, suburban, or budget friendly, Salem really does have a great mix. There's some great townhouses in and around that downtown area too. Okay, so let's take a few minutes to talk about property prices. The key thing for you to keep in mind is that Salem offers fantastic value compared to Portland. You'll find entry-level homes between $350,000 and $450,000. Some of these properties behind me, for example, are probably going to be in the upper 400s, maybe as much as $500,000. And then larger homes, you can spend over $700,000 for a larger home here, but those prices compared to Portland, they're significantly cheaper here in especially South Salem with these beautiful houses. Now, if you're looking for new construction, then West and South Salem are likely going to be your best options. The average home price in Salem is around $475,000, so it makes it one of the more affordable mid-sized cities in the Pacific Northwest. Now, later in the video, we'll go a lot deeper and talk more about real estate. I'll bring up the map and I'll show you some examples of what's currently on the market. So keep on watching. Okay, so changing topic now. Let's talk about what it's like to live in Salem. Well, first off, even though Salem is the third largest city in Oregon, it still has a very manageable small town feel. You've got wider streets, less traffic, and overall a more relaxing pace of life compared to Portland. There's a really friendly, strong sense of community here. It's definitely a more sleepy vibe than Portland. And it's more easy to get involved in some of the local events and schools and neighborhood events just because of the beautiful pace of life. Now, it's a college town. It's home to the Willamette University. There's a really strong healthcare sector here thanks to Salem Health, and this is one of the city's largest employers. And in terms of commuting and getting around, Salem is definitely a car-friendly city. Most people here drive, and the road system is super easy to navigate. You've got the I-5 that runs north to south through town, so it's about an hour to Portland on the I-5, and then Eugene is about an hour as well to the south. Overall, it's well located. And then for local travel, Salem has its own public bus system called Chariots. This serves most of the city and even extends in some of the surrounding areas. And then there's also a regional Amtrak station, and that's great if you want to take the train up to Portland or down towards California as well without having to deal with that traffic. Now, for the more active folks, Salem is becoming more bike friendly, especially near downtown, the Riverfront Park and the Minto Brown area. There's plenty of trails, shared paths, more infrastructure going to support alternative transportation. So if you're commuting, working from home, or just running errands, Salem overall is pretty easy to get around. There's also plenty of green spaces throughout in all the neighborhoods too. So to summarize really what it's like to live here, sleepier way of life, more community friendly, and again, plenty of green spaces, trails, with a mix of historic areas as well. So every week I release new videos on what it's like to live across the Portland metro area. So if you are thinking of moving here, then please do consider subscribing to my channel so you receive that information. Also, feel free to reach out if you're ready to start the conversations about relocating here. I am a real estate broker and I specialize in helping people relocate. So give me a call, send me a text or email, or alternatively, scan that QR code you see on the screen. That way you can schedule a one-on-one Zoom call with me. So just across the street from me is the Baker Elementary School. So I thought now would be a good time to talk about what the schools are like in this area. Especially as a lot of buyers, this is a top priority. Now, Salem is part of the Salem-Keizer School District. It's actually one of the largest in the entire state of Oregon. It serves more than 40,000 students across Salem and neighboring Keizer to the north, with dozens of elementary, middle, and high schools. Now, like many larger districts, school ratings will of course vary depending on the neighborhood. Areas like South Salem and West Salem tend to have the highest rated public schools, both at the elementary level and high school levels. So if school performance is important to you, I definitely recommend doing a bit of research first. Alternatively, reach out to me and I'll help you dig into the details. Now, beyond public schools, Salem also has a number of charter schools, private schools, and dual language programs. This gives families more options when it comes to education. And if you've got older kids, or if you're thinking about continuing your own education, Salem is home to the Willamette University, and this is a top-ranked liberal arts college. It's located right in the heart of downtown. There's also the Chemeketa Community College, which offers affordable degree programs, workforce training, and continuing education classes. So if you're focused on elementary schools, college access, or lifelong learning, Salem definitely has a wide breadth of educational opportunities to support your goals. So let's talk about what it's like to live and play in Salem, because it's not just about affordability and commuting. The city actually has a lot going for it when it comes to lifestyle, outdoor spaces, and of course community events. And if you love being in the outdoors, Salem definitely delivers. Now, I'm currently located at the Minto Brown Island Park. It's one of the largest urban parks in Oregon, with over 1,200 acres of trails, open meadows, and dog parks, and of course riverfront access. It's a great spot for biking, being active, bird watching, or just getting lost in nature. And there's also many other parks across Salem. For example, the Riverfront City Park, that's in downtown Salem. It's home to the Salem Carousel, walking paths, river views, and a brand new amphitheater. And then you've also got Bush's Pasture Park. That's beautiful in the spring with all the blooming flowers. And then there's so many other smaller parks scattered throughout all of the neighborhoods. Okay, so now let's spend a few minutes talking about how much it costs to purchase a property in Salem, and also the various different areas, what those price points looks like, and then show you a little bit more about the types of homes you can expect to find. Now, overall, Salem is significantly more affordable than Portland. So if you're looking for a bit more flexibility about where you live and on more of a budget, or want to get a little bit more for your money, you're definitely going to find some better prices in Salem overall. I talked about the northeast side of Salem being perhaps one of the most affordable areas here. And if we just zoom into this area overall, you can see some prices. There's one here for $129,000, but $375,000, single story home. You'll find quite a lot of single story homes in this area as well. So that's 3 bed, 1 bath, 1,272 square feet for $375,000. There's another one not too far but nearby, $435,000. One down here for $385,000. That's a townhouse. But yeah, you'll find certainly homes in and around this kind of upper northeast corner for in that price point overall. Prices really for Salem are really going to vary. Homes, single story homes, you can start off in the mid 400,000. You can find homes under 400,000. but comfortably lots and lots of properties for under $500,000 in Salem. But like any major city, there are certainly pockets where you'll find homes for significantly more money. One example here, well, I'm going to open up perhaps one of the most expensive homes on the market in Salem, and this is a beautiful home not too far from that downtown area, and it's just under 1.1 million. And again, this is not the typical price point for Salem. I'm showing you kind of the upper price. It's a beautiful old historic home built in 1925, 6 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms and a half bathroom, so 4.5 bathrooms, 4,000 square feet, and then property taxes are very reasonable, $5,000 a year. Let's just take a quick look at this one overall. Attractive home, historic home, charming home, very similar to what you might find in some of Portland's older historical neighborhoods, but this house in Portland would probably be at least $500,000 more. It's that much of a difference. So yeah, beautiful home, and something that you can expect to find in some of the neighborhoods. Definitely a little bit more unusual. Homes in Salem tend to be a little bit more modest than Portland overall. But yeah, beautiful, charming home. Okay, so we touched on Northeast Portland briefly. I've shown you one of the more expensive houses in Portland. Let's show you a little bit more on the west side. The west side I've talked about briefly. It's quite hilly, it's very green, good schools, it's quite a desirable part of Salem. You'll see a lot of people want to move to the west part of Salem, but of course it depends on where you work or what you're doing. And you can see overall, property ranges from the upper 400,000s, mid 500,000s, 670,000, 610, 639, 569. They're in this kind of low 500s to mid 600,000 range. So it's kind of quite a wide range, but plenty of options here overall. Let's take a look at this one at random. So I haven't looked at this one before. Hopefully this is a nice property to see, but $569,000. It looks like it's a single level home. It does say primary and main, which is great. And again, if you're looking for single story homes, Salem's going to be quite a good option. You've got lots of properties here. 3 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms. It's 2,190 square feet, and it's on a 1/4 of an acre. And again, a property like this in Portland is probably going to be $200,000 more, roughly, give or take a little bit, $150,000, $200,000 more. So prices are much more affordable in Salem. Let's take a look in the interior. Yeah, pretty nice overall, nice and spacious, nice big windows. It's clean, it's open plan. Gives you kind of this is a very typical home you could find in the area. With some new carpets in there, but overall, this is a strong option overall. Gives you kind of an example of what you can find. And this is like a 3-car garage. I think you got 2 here plus 1 there. Very, very spacious garage. Wow, that's a feature. And kind of like a nice area, maybe a barbecue gas grill there or something. So yeah, that gives you kind of a very good example of a typical home on what you could find on the west side. $569,000 for a 2,190 square foot home, 3 beds, 2 bathrooms on a 1/4 of an acre. Property taxes are $6,500 a year. So the property we just looked at was this one here, 569. There's one right down the road, a little bit higher, 639. So this is really one of the top end prices for this area. And again, another single story home and another house with a 3-car garage. So it's quite popular in this area. Beautiful landscaping. So top end, this is quite a more expensive property than the one we just looked at, $639,000. It's 3 bedrooms and then 2.5 bathrooms, and then it's 2,400 square feet. So it's about 250 square feet larger than the one we just looked at approximately. Corner lot, nice, spacious, really nice landscaping. Got some palm trees out the front, and you can kind of see the area, very green, quite leafy, and then this is just Salem. This kind of sums up West Salem quite well, this aerial shot. I'm curious to see the inside. Yeah, so single story living. You do have 1 step here by the looks of it, but overall very light and bright, feels very spacious, a little bit more updated than the property that we just looked at. And then nice big kitchen. Open plan. You'll find a lot of these kitchens open plan over the kind of the main living area. This one here built in 1994, so kind of a 90s vibe overall. And let me just go back. This is a huge primary bedroom, right? Very, very large fireplace in the primary bedroom, so very, very cool. And so you got a nice big suite, very big primary bathroom as well. So yeah, kind of gives you and big closet as well. So it gives you a couple of great examples of homes in this area. This area definitely got that 90s vibe about it, very close to downtown Salem. So depending on where you work, this is definitely a good option. And then schools, as I've mentioned a couple of times, in West Salem, probably the top pick. Okay, and finally, let's touch on South Salem. South Salem is quite large and quite sprawling, but you find some of the newer construction happens in the south part of Salem, so it extends South Salem, it grows and gets bigger. But you can see we've got similar sort of price point to what we just seen on West Salem. Here you can see homes in the mid 400,000s and then the mid 600,000s and the 500,000s. Quite a few options. There's a few down here at a very high price, which was this one. Okay. But yeah, several properties in and around this area. Let's look at a couple here. One that's for $499. This one, yeah, is just $6 under $500,000. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 1,459 square feet on 0.14 of an acre. Property taxes annually are $4,400. And again, another single story home. You're starting to see a bit of a theme that there's a lot of these single story homes in Salem. There are, of course, multi-level homes as well, multi-story homes, but it just seems to be the ones we're finding kind of that single story home a bit more common than what you may find important. And then here, Brian Johnston Park, I was actually doing some filming right around this area. I was doing some filming right around here. Let's look at this one here that seems to actually back onto the park. $589,000. A little bit different to the ones we've just seen, but this one built in 2017. So this part of South Salem is a little bit newer, as I said. $589,000. It's 5 bedrooms, wow, 2 full bathrooms and a half bathroom, 2,200 square feet. Let's take a look. And once again, another property with a free car garage. So if you have multi-vehicles, this seems to be a good place. And this looks beautiful. This seems to be nicely renovated inside. Again, it's only about 8 years old approximately. Lovely kitchen, nice open plan vibe. But you may see, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you'll see the homes here are quite different overall to Portland, the styles. Definitely more, you kind of the single story homes, slightly newer area, but yeah, again, it gives you a slightly different vibe. Homes are also on slightly larger lots here as well, so something to keep in mind. And again, a property, this is $589,000, but if this was in Portland in a similar sort of neighborhood, I would say probably about $200,000 more than this property. So for an hour away from Portland, you can certainly save significant money by buying in Salem rather than Portland. Okay, I'm going to finish it up with one more property that's a little bit different to some of the ones we've seen. It's also in South Salem, so we just looked at this one near Brian Johnston Park. So just down the road is this one here for $924,000. And I wanted to show this one just because it's something a little different to what we've seen before. So it's on a golf course, beautiful already. $924,900. It's 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, but it's big, 4,000 square feet. And it's on 0.19 of an acre. And I think once again, this looks like it's a single story home. It's built in 1995. Let's take a look. I think it's a single story. And then once again, another house with a free car garage. So this is not something you see in many parts of Portland. So if you have lots of vehicles, this could certainly be a great area for you. Beautiful views, lots of large floor to ceiling windows. Great little living room area as well. Kind of a cool little nooks and crannies, and yeah, you can just see the trees in the background. Absolutely beautiful, right? Wonderful kitchen, huge island, and again, these kind of beautiful views here overall. Good office space, full bathroom. Oh, looks like we might have a downstairs. Okay. So this house looks like, yeah, you go downstairs, so you're entering on the main level and you go downstairs to some of these extra levels. So you kind of got a second living room area down here below, and a little bar there, and then a couple of bedrooms, and then a lovely deck. And it's like maybe a hot tub there as well, but a great seating area to watch people play golf. And looks like you've got, yeah, ability to kind of just walk out directly onto the golf course from here. And a lovely fire pit. So this is the photos from the rear of the house, and this is probably the golf path and walking path. But yeah, a wonderful home, something a little bit different than the previous 2 or 3 options we saw. Want to show you that there is a contrast. You have some historical homes, you have some newer homes from 20 or 30 years ago, then something a little bit special like this for quite a reasonable price located on the golf course. So overall, to summarize our price points in Salem, starting price point for a single family home, you can find something in the upper $300,000. It'll be a small single family home, but you can certainly find things comfortably under $400,000. Most properties seem to be between $500,000 and that mid $650,000. That's where the bulk of the properties lie. You will of course see a couple of options that are on the upper end, $1 million ish. Not that many houses in Salem sell for over $1 million, unlike Portland. So Salem is definitely a much more affordable area, significantly more affordable area than Portland. So it's definitely something to keep in mind if you're looking for a great home on a fantastic budget. Okay, so to recap, Salem has definitely got a lot going for it. Homes are significantly more affordable than Portland, and there's plenty of job opportunities across a wide range of industries. So if you're tired of Portland's prices but not quite ready for a full-on rural lifestyle, Salem could definitely be a great fit. So if you are thinking of relocating to Salem or anywhere else in the Willamette Valley, I'd certainly love to help you. Feel free to give me a call, send me a text or send me an email. Alternatively, scan that QR code that you now see on the screen. That way we can set up a one-on-one Zoom call appointment. Now, I'm always happy to answer any questions you might have, so please do reach out to me either via email, stick them in the comments down below. But for now, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time. Please do consider subscribing to my channel, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next video.